everyone, and welcome to this video. This is the first one that I am shooting in 2024, so Happy New Year, everyone. So yeah, the past couple of days I have been thinking a lot about what I want to do this year, and also I've been reflecting on last year, things that I've been knitting, how my physical health has been since coming back from a major injury due to knitting back in 2021. So yeah, I think I might want to talk a bit more about that towards the end of this video, but today's focus really is on my 2024 winter knitting plans. So in terms of like reorganizing things in kind of like my head, I've decided to do things this year in 3-month slots, kind of like how I tried to do like my autumn knitting. Like things that I wanted to knit in the autumn. But yeah, I'm just going to be doing that from January till March, and then April till June, etc., etc. And what else is there? I think that's about it. Yeah. So yeah, let's just kind of like get into what I want to be knitting this period. So I organized them by category, the things that I want to knit. First off, we have mittens section. The mittens section, I have been trying to knit a good pair of mittens for, I think at this point, half a year, and I've always stumbled upon some sort of issue, but last month I really tried to push myself a bit and try and actually finish at least one mitten, not even a pair, just one mitten that fits well, and that actually worked. Ta-da! This is my second attempt of this pair of mittens. These are Yoko Hatta's, I think, Nordic braided mittens from her recent book called Yoko Hatta's Seamless Knits. Yeah, Seamless Knits, I think, or Simple Knits. I think it's Seamless Knits. Yeah. So this is my first pair of this is my first mitten that actually like fits well. I'm super happy with it. But yeah, this was actually on my like plan list, but I guess I started it a bit early. But yeah, I want to finish this off first, but then like the actual things that I want I'm already like all over the place, but I actually had 2 specific mittens that I wanted to knit this period. So yeah, let's get to them. The first one is Hanahana by Noriko Ichikawa. This is a beautiful pair of mittens that has a very lovely flower design. That's also where the name of the design comes from. Hanahana is just basically flower in Japanese. So I have actually been trying to knit these for a couple of weeks now, and the yarn choice that I first had was not great, and also I knit them too tightly, and so I decided to just start over, and I actually cast the first mitten on last year, like on New Year's Eve, essentially. So I can actually show you like how the progress has been. Ta-da! I think it's so beautiful. So yeah, the yarn that I'm using is from Lana Grossa. It's called Cool Baby, and it has a yardage of 220 meters per 50 grams, and it is 100% Merino. So initially I bought some like Eastex, some yarn from Eastex that had, I think, a yardage of about 250 meters per 50 grams. And it was like a 1-ply, kind of like tightly-ish spun yarn, and it just really didn't look all that nice. And yeah, I just kind of like took the colors from the design, so red and white. And this year, I think I really also want to think more about my own color choices. Like, I don't only want to go off of what the design is, I want to try out things myself. So, what I've really been interested in is just taking a light color and the darker color of that, and then knitting those together in Colorwork. So yeah, that's what this is, and I've really been enjoying it. I want to do a bit more of stranded color work this year as well. So this is just a great project to do this winter. Then the next pair of mittens that I would like to knit come from also another Japanese designer, Motoko Ishikawa, and it's from her book Mitten-san ya, wait, is it? No, Miton ya san no teami no Miton kotomo no. Yeah, and there's actually a recent English translation of this book called Knit Latvian Mittens. So if anyone is interested in these designs, I'll leave a link to like the publisher's website with the book information, etc., etc. Yeah, so I actually tried knitting number 3 from this book, and I tried I think 2 or 3 times last year, and they were all kind of like too small. So I'm going to stay away from that project for a while and try something else from it. So I have my sight set on number 5, and yeah, I just thought it was a cute pattern. I had initially thought to knit this in the same colors, white and blue. I really liked that color combination, but I ended up trying something else. So, or at least I bought yarn for I bought like different colored yarn. So yeah, this is Viking garn. This is some Danish yarn, I believe. It's called Trend Merino Petite, and the yardage is 235 meters per 50 grams, and it's 100% merino. So yeah, this is non-superwash yarn. And again, we are here with the, I guess you'd call it low contrast. Honestly, I have no idea, like color talk. I've watched videos in the past about people like talking about their color choices, and they're like, oh, low contrast, tonal, blah, blah. I have no idea what that all means, but I hope to learn this year. Anyway, yeah, I think that's everything with regards to these mittens. They look fun. I definitely first want to finish off this one and then the hanahana ones. Yeah. Okay, moving on to some headwear. So I made 1.5 hoods last year and a hat as well. And the hat that I made was for my boyfriend, not for myself. And I would actually like to have a hat for myself. Actually, the exact same one that my boyfriend now has. It's the Daruma Knit Cap light worsted from Daruma. I don't think there's really like a designer. They just, basically they say it's from the company, because sometimes I believe Daruma hires like designers, and then they'll say the name of the designer, or it comes from like in-house and they just say Yoko, which is like the main company of Daruma. There was some unnecessary information, but yeah. So this is the cap that I wanted to knit, and I really liked the combination of the model. She uses this like dark chocolate colored wool, and then it also has ear flaps. That's something I also would like to knit for myself, and those are knitted in I think also a lighter weight yarn, and also and lighter in terms of color as well. I think that's actually quite interesting. But yeah, I had decided that I wanted to use some Danish yarn because that was more accessible to me, because yeah, Daruma is a Japanese company, and so I would have to import that from Japan. So I ended up getting some onion yarn. This is some yarn that I started using last year for the first time. This one specifically I've used a lot. It's onion number 4, 70% organic wool and 30% nettle. I've used these mainly for socks, and I really like the yarn. I'm also knitting a sweater with this as well at the moment. So yeah, there's not really like a store nearby where I live where I can actually go and look at the colors and buy the yarn there. So I had to do it online and kind of like go off of what my screen was telling me and looking up like on Ravelry what other people had in their stash. But yeah, it's this, I don't know, kind of cool tone, I guess, dark brown. And it's not really the yarn that I was, the color that I was like going for. I would say I would wanted a rich sort of dark brown, if that makes any sense. So I think I'm actually going to knit a couple of mittens out of these for my boyfriend instead. So I'm hoping towards the end of March that I can actually import the yarn that is needed for this hat, or that is like that was suggested, the suggested yarn, and then knit it all in that. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. So this definitely is one of the projects that I'm not too sure if I'll be able to actually knit up this winter. Then moving on to socks. In terms of socks, I really mostly knit socks for kind of like, I guess, meditative purposes. I find sock knitting to be extremely relaxing, and so I do plan to knit just like a bunch of socks like I've been doing for the past couple of months. I don't have like anything special to note about those particular socks, because those ones are just kind of like my, I guess, my vanilla recipe of socks. But yeah, this winter I also want to challenge myself a bit more and not make my regular cuff down sock. And so I wanted to do some color work for the first time, and I ended up picking Swan Lake, and this is a design by Charlotte Stone, or I believe Stone Knits she goes by on Instagram, and it's from her book Charming Colorwork Socks. And I just think these are really, really cute. I actually quite recently watched a podcast episode from Fruity Knitting in which Charlotte talks about the book, explains her designs and how she actually ended up becoming a sock designer. So she mentions a lot of interesting things in this episode that also like really helped me with knitting this pair right here. So I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. But one thing she also mentions is that this specific pattern has been knit up by a lot of beginners, I think also just beginner sock knitters and beginner colorwork sock knitters, because it's just a very, I guess it's not too complicated in terms of color work. Basically, you just use the white for the swans and like the tiny speckles around at the, like on the leg and at the toe section. But like the black and orange for the nose are duplicate stitches. So it seems like a very nice entry level sock to knit in terms of colorwork sock. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm using Mayflower 1 or class 1, I believe. That is, wait, I do have it here. Yes, It's, yeah, one class. Yeah, Mayflower one class sock yarn. So I didn't have any like thin black yarn, so I had to get an entire ball, but I'll figure something out with this. So I have, so I'm using black, which is, what is it? 19, number 19, black beans. Then I'm using also dark denim, which is number 41. And then I also have snow white here, which is number 33. So this is just, yeah, your regular sock yarn, 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide, I'm guessing nylon. And also I needed some orange as well. So I have here some drops Fabel unicolor. Yeah, in, what's it called? Number 119. This is also kind of like regular 75% wool, superwash treated wool, and then 25% polyamide. Yeah, and the yardage on this one is 205 meters per 50 grams, and then on this one it's 210 meters per 50 grams, so basically the same. Just regular schmegular fingering weight yarn. Yep. Moving on to pants. Last year I knit one pair of pants while I was in Japan, and that pair of pants has easily become one of my most worn pieces because I just wear them to bed and they're so like cozy and nice. And so I wanted to knit another pair of pants. So this one comes from a Japanese book called Keito no Pantsu. So here is the book. It's actually called Kokochi Kawaii Attaka Keito no Pantsu. I basically, like, you still had like tiny words here, and I didn't even know that was part of the title, but it basically means comfortable, cute, and warm knitted pants. And actually the one that I knit last year was this pair, number B, I believe. This one right here, which is kind of like nothing too special. There's some cute lace detailing going on here. But this time around, I would like to make pants number, no, not number, letter E, right here. Now that I think of it, I also just have like a picture so I can put it up as well. But yeah, this is, actually the book itself is from Nihon Vogue. So Vogue Japan, but it just features a number of different designers. This pattern specifically is from Makiko Okamoto, and the reason why I want to knit this is just because it just seems really comfortable, very cozy, and just fun with some cabling as well as some knits and pearls, like some texture in between. I just realized it's also on the front of, well, I have a picture. So yeah, there's some like texture in between the cables as well. So I actually wanted to use some of my stash yarn for this to get rid of this. I have a lot of Westwool Tandem yarn that I had wanted to use for a sweater but ended up not doing. So yeah, I have about 300 grams of Westwool Tandem Marine or Marinita. I don't know what the name is called, but it's like just dark navy colored yarn. And I am not too sure like the composition in terms of yarn. I think it's about 10% like Dutch sheep up in Texel, up in the north, and then like 90% some other type of wool. I lost the label, so I actually have no idea. But I'm pretty sure there's some Dutch sheep in there as well. They've also like changed their yarn composition because they've re-released the entire line as well. In any case, the yardage is 160 meters per 50 grams, which is about the same as the example. So yeah, that's pants. I only want to knit one pair of pants because I want to actually focus now on tops. The next thing that I would like to knit is kind of like a dream. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to do this because it's definitely the most complicated like thing, like sweater that I've knit. Most of the sweaters, well, I've only knit like a handful. They've mostly been stockinette or just some moss stitching, paneling here. So yeah, this one is called the round neck sweater with yoke kirigae. I kind of forgot what kirigae means, but I think it's just like yeah, I don't know what it meant again, but yeah, so so this is another design from Yoko Hatta, the same person behind these ones. I actually love Yoko Hatta's designs. I think they are so like timeless, challenging, very fun. And so I want to knit one of her sweaters. This is actually from one of her earlier books that is now out of print. So I was only able to download one pattern from that book on the Vogue Japan website. So yeah, I just think it looks really, really, really pretty. I love like the different type of like stuff that is going on. The top part that has a lot of texture and some cabling, and basically it's the same on the bottom, but then different. And I also like how well it fits the body, at least of the model here. I'm gonna have to definitely put a lot of effort in terms of making sure that I've got my measurements correct and just make sure that it doesn't become a total flop. This is also knit flat, and knitting sweaters flat is something that I have recently become more interested in, seeing the difference between knitting things in the round and knitting things flat, like what the pros are of knitting in flat, because a lot of times it's said that like the structure is better, like it holds the fit of the garment better. So yeah, and I definitely don't have anything against purling. And also I recently learned how to do bi-directional knitting, where I knit basically from right to left English style and then knit continental the other way around knitting. So it's like knit, 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 knit. Anyway, I'm interested in seeing how that works on this sweater. So I actually chose for a similar color in terms of yarn. This is again Hjertegarn from, did I actually talk about Hjertegarn this video? Anyway, this is a Danish brand. No, I spoke about Viking. This is also a Danish brand called the Hjertegarn. This is their 50% wool superwash and 50% cotton yarn, and the yardage is 170 meters per 50 grams. I just think the color looks really nice, and I think it would look really nice on me. Yeah. Moving on, I have a fun, well, I think it's a fun sweater design from a Japanese designer again. This one is from Mariko Mikuni, who is really, really popular within the Japanese knitting sphere. She recently came out with another book, which I got recently. It's a it's not even that I don't know how to read it. It's literally also in English here. Matatabi knit. Matatabi knit. Yes. So I think this book is really awesome. There's lots of like really outgoing knit stuff going on in this book. I mean, also look at this one here. This is like would be a dream for me if I would be able to knit this, but I'm leaving this for like another day, another year. But the one that I actually want to knit is called, well, I have a picture. It's called Lily of the Valley. And this is just one of those sweaters I think is gonna be for people, is gonna be like a hit or miss for people, kind of like your ugly Christmas sweater, but then like your, I don't know, ugly 80s like sweater. I think it's kind of like out there, but I like it a lot. I think it would look really, really cute with like a pair of jeans. I think it's really cute. I told my boyfriend that I wanted to knit it and he was like, I'm not really a fan, but I really like it, so I'm going to knit this. And I think it's going to be a fun one too, in terms of that it's kind of like quick, it's flat, it uses intarsia, and it uses duplicate stitch, which are two things that I haven't often done and would like to do a bit more. So yeah, the yarn that I'm going to use for this is some yarn from Viking. There was a sale back in, I think at the end of November, so I managed to get like the yarn that I wanted for these projects for like a pretty good deal. But yeah, so I would have loved to use the yarn that the model has, but this is actually Mikuni's own like yarn line, and it's only available in Japan. So I thought I could like try and find something similar here in Europe. So these are the colors that I've decided on. This is Viking. Well, I basically use the same color scheme, only this color I think is like slightly different. It's like petrol instead of like a dark bright green. But yeah, this is Viking yarn and it is 100% wool. Yeah, 70 meters per 50 grams. And yeah, I think the recommended like needle size for this project even was 5.5, and I don't think I've used needles bigger than 4.5 millimeters since knitting again. So I think this will knit up really, really quickly and really, really nicely as well. So yeah, the colors: 926 marine blue, 960 dark red, 968 purple, and then 928 dark petrol. So on the sweater there are some lilies, and the yarn that Mikuni uses, her yarn, is like, I think like a silk, no, it's a mohair wool blend, which I was struggling a lot with trying to find a replacement for. So I haven't found one yet, so I'm still looking for that. And it's not a huge deal because those stitches, like the yarn is used for duplicate stitches, so I can always just add those flowers later on. Yeah. Then moving on, another sweater that I would really, really love to knit is the Star Sweater by Sanae Nasu. Also another Japanese designer. I think basically all of my knits here have been from Japanese designers. In any case, this is from her latest book called Amimono Noto, so like knitting notes. Yeah, so I think it's really pretty. I guess it's inspired by traditional Scandinavian sweaters. I really like how the motive, like the stars and stuff, are just like on this area instead of like starting at the top of the yoke. Those are the ones I think that you usually see. And yeah, I don't know, I just thought that that was like a cool thing. I really love the fit on the model as well. So I'm excited to knit it. I have the yarn here. This is again from Hjertegarn. This one is called, what's it called? Vital. It's 100% superwash wool. I chose a lighter blue, but yeah, I still think it looks like really cute together with this one. Did I give it the yardage? It's 150 meters per 50 grams, and it's in the colors 6,500 and 100. Yeah, this one is 6,500 and this is 100. So yeah, lots of like, I really like how all these sweaters feel, at least to me, they feel like challenges, and I'd be so happy if I could just finish these 3, not even like this winter, but just this year. I'd be so happy with like my entire knit year. But yeah, moving on. I know that also these plans are like really ambitious, but it's something that really excites me. I don't like go into these knitting plans with I have to finish this at the end of March, you know? Like, I just like to be inspired, and also I kind of like knit a bit recklessly, so I have a lot of projects that are in progress at the moment, which I am really hoping also to finish soon. But anyway, moving on, I have a design by a Norwegian designer, Vitre Design. I would love to knit the Collette Tee. This is just kind of like your basic t-shirt, knit in the round. I decided to use 100% wool. I don't know if that was the smartest choice, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, what I used is, well, what I want to use is this color right here, kind of like red wine-ish color. This is again Hjertegarn Vital, 100% superwash wool, 150 meters per 50 grams, and the color is 5,526. Yes, I think this is like a cute and fun t-shirt, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. The construction seems interesting. I'm just excited to knit this one up. I'd love to just like set aside a couple of days, just like maybe 3 days when I have more free time, and just like knit that up in one go. I think that would be a really enjoyable experience. Lastly, I have 2 projects that I want to do that I'm like drafting myself. This is definitely one of my major goals for this year, essentially. I want to try and learn more about knitting to become a better knitter, and what better way to do that than like designing things yourself. So I actually already started that journey kind of last month, where I actually like tried to really take it more serious, and I started working on this like polo cardigan. There are lots of issues with this one. I can tell you that from the get-go. Lots and lots of issues, but I'm very proud that I've been putting myself out there, and I've been learning more about construction and how to do things. Oh, the lighting is awful. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I've been learning this type of stuff. Not only just by trial and error, I'm reading quite a bit. I have been reading both Western and Japanese books on knitting. I have, for instance, this one is how to knit your own sweaters, size adjustment, like drawing up patterns. I even, and I completely forgot that I bought this book when I was in Japan studying there. I got this secondhand trade school book from like that. I got all three of these textbooks. So it's Kodansha's culture school. So this book is basically kind of like explains knitting, hand knitting, and I think maybe also a bit of like machine knitting. So yeah, these were used in trade schools in the 60s, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, lots of like interesting stuff to look at. Here I have the second one as well, which is for crochet, and the third one that is for Tunisian crochet. So I'll be looking through these books and other types of books throughout the year, and I'll be talking about them in my podcast. So if that is something that interests you, subscribe. In any case, yes. So once I finish this, I just need to do this one sleeve and then I'm done. I am planning on, I have two designs that I wanted to do. Basically two polos. This is like a polo cardigan, but I want to actually make just like a regular polo that just buttons up until here, something like this. So I first wanted to do just a regular one to just kind of like get the feel and learn more about fit. Like for instance, with this one, I've had major issues with fit, especially like the arms. Anyway, the first one, I wanted to make like a striped polo, so I chose these two colors. This is Hjertegarn again, extra fine merino cotton. So this is 50% superwash wool and then 50% cotton, and the yardage is 120 meters per 50 grams. So I wanted to make like a striped polo and just kind of like see how that works out. Then lastly, the second project I want to work on is again a polo, but like with some textured stuff going on here, which I'm really, really excited for. And I have, again, Hjertegarn Vital, 100% superwash wool, 150 meters per 50 grams. I think this might be like, is going to be like the most interesting project for me in terms of like drafting things myself. So yeah, that's basically it. It's a pretty like busy January until March, but I feel confident that it's gonna be like, regardless of like the result, it's gonna be really, really fun. So come along if you will. In any case, yeah, like I said, in terms of 2024, I think I've already kind of like talked about things that I would like to do this year. For me, it's like the most important things are finishing more things. I want less things on like, I want less projects at the same, well, not less projects at the same time. I guess that as well, but I really want to try my best to finish more things. Like I have about 2 or 3 projects at this moment that I feel like I could finish each of them if I just spend one day focusing on them. In any case, that's one thing I would like to do. I would like to knit more tops. I'd like to get better at knitting. So I want to try out new techniques. I want to learn. I want to experiment. I don't only want to do like stockinette stuff. I want to do intarsia. I want to do color work, which I guess is like stockinette, but like I want to do, you catch my drift? I want to try out more things. I want to be more adventurous. I just want to become more skilled, and I want to be able to keep track more of like the yarn that I have. I want to make more use of the yarn that I have with me. Yeah. I think that's about it for this video. In any case, thank you very, very much for watching. Again, have a happy new year, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye bye.